Welcome back to the channel. This is the Action Figure Grader, and today I've got loose complete vintage Star Wars figures. I've got some great looking vehicles like the Sandcrawler and the Imperial Shuttle. A few 12-inch figures, I think. I can't remember. I put together a couple of these videos because I'm pre-making them for a while. I will be deep sea fishing. Hopefully I catch some fish, but I just want to make sure you guys have some content while I am away. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at what we've got for today's video. Most of these were auctions, but I've got a few buy it now situations like this one. This is a tough item to find in good condition, and this one was in pretty nice shape. This is the vintage mail away action figure stand with the original shipper box, as well as the instructions. The backer board looked to be in really good shape. Really nice example overall. Unfortunately, the original owner did write on the box like that, but Chris W. at one point had one of these kind of loose graded by CAS, and it looked really nice. It had the cardboard box behind it, and then it had the display stand in front. I'm sure it was a really big acrylic case, but there are those of you that like to have this and then get some nice near mint first 12 figures to put on there. Anyway, they are pretty pricey. I mean, they're not cheap for what they are. I mean, it's really just a box and then a plastic stand. But because they're so early, they are very pricey. And this one was listed for $800. Best offer accepted on it was $760. $760 on that one. The Sandcrawler, this one was advertised as complete and working with all of the parts. It had the elevator inside and the ladder, as well as the remote. But this is a very nice example. And that one sold for $700. And I actually thought that price wasn't too bad at all. I've seen them go in similar shape for as high as $900. And when you start getting the box with it, that's when it gets very pricey because there's not many Survivor boxes. But that one did sell in a buy it now situation for $700. Speaking of the HasLab Cantina that's being offered right now, I thought it would be fun to pull up the original Cantina action playset to see what sales have been doing. I would think that sellers who are trying to exploit the nostalgia out there that's, you know, with the HasLab version of the Cantina might want to try to list their original Creature Cantina action playset. And that's what this one is. And this was at auction and sold for $167.40. Certainly not in perfect shape. You know, it's got some dings here and there, some peeling to the stickers, and the box is not perfect, but you know, $167.40 is not a terrible deal relative to some other examples I've seen sell out there. Blue Snaggletooth, this one was not complete with the weapon, but the weapon's pretty easy to find. And this one obviously had torso discoloration. Boots were in pretty decent shape. The belt was in good shape, but this is probably at best like a 75 grade or 70 even with that wear to the hand that you can see right there. So this is probably a 70. And that one sold for $300. Next up, we do have the Cantina Playset backdrop with those little pegs that go inside, and it included all four Cantina creatures, including Blue Snaggletooth. The Blue Snags was in pretty decent shape as well, and I thought this was a pretty decent deal given that the Snags didn't really have any discoloration to the boots. Obviously, it did have torso discoloration, which is common, but it also did include Walrus Man, Greedo, and Hammerhead, and then, you know, the backdrop that we all know and love. That one sold for $500 plus $12 shipping on that. Some 12-inch figures. Here's ObiWan Kenobi. Very clean example overall. That one was listed for $175 and sold in a make an offer situation for $150. We had a very nice looking Stormtrooper that was basically unused, and I did not see any issues at all. The big thing on the Stormtrooper is around the chest. You can oftentimes get heavy yellowing, but this one was a very clean example. Not mint and seal box, but the box was in really good shape. Listed for $460. The best offer accepted on that was $400. That's a very nice example. A good one to put inside a sliding acrylic case and put on your shelf. Here was Boba Fett with the box. This was 100% complete, including the cape, rocket, and Wookiee braids, and the Boba Fett himself was in really good shape. That one sold in an auction for $500. We had Luke Skywalker 12-inch figure with the box, as well as all the paperwork, grappling hook, lightsaber. That one also sold for $200. I thought that was a really good deal, given how clean the Luke Skywalker looked. I mean, that is a very white-looking tunic there. All the boots looked great. Very, very good deal, I think, at $200. Here was the XWing Fighter with the Empire Strikes Back packaging, unused sticker sheet, and also the laser cannons were still in the factory sealed baggie. So that was a very nice example and sold for big money accordingly. $650 on that one. And, you know, the sticker sheet looks like it's got some yellowing or something going on there, but overall, I mean, that's not a bad deal at all for the Empire Strikes Back packaging for the X-Wing. Next up, the Tonton. This was unused contents, including the catalog and paperwork inside a pretty nice looking box. Box was in pretty good shape, as well as the cardboard insert. That one sold for $350. And you think about what a graded Tonton goes for, mint and sealed box. I mean, $800 to $1,000 all day long. So I thought that was a pretty good deal for Unbroken Reigns, unused contents Tonton. We had the Droids R2D2, Droid Factory R2D2, excuse me. And this one was in really good shape. And this price has come down a lot. I feel like for a while there, the Droid Factory R2D2 with a third leg was kind of way more than this for a loose complete example and kind of near mint minus condition. That one did sell for $180 in a buy it now situation. The Tusken Raider, this one was the Hollow Cheeks Tusken Raider and included one of the card backs that it's known to come with, which is, I think, the 65 back. Let's see. I don't know if they showed the back of the, yeah, here it is. Yeah, 65 back B is what the Hollow Cheeks often came with. And, you know, he was in really good shape. You can see a close-up there of the silver paint apps. Really nice example of the Hollow Cheeks. And that one sold at an auction, 23 bids, and it sold for $275.53. So that's a figure that has come down in price. For a while there, loose, complete Hollow Cheeks Tusken Raiders were more like $400 or more. And graded examples, I mean, I remember one last year that was an AFA 85 that sold for over $1,000. So that price has come down a little bit. So don't overpay right now for the Tusken Raider if you're looking for the Hollow Cheeks example. And if you're new to collecting and you don't know what that means, that just means that those little silver cheeks below the eye stalks, they're hollowed out and they came on certain card backs, most notably on the 65 back Return of the Jedi card back. So there you go. $275 on that one. That's a good deal there. Some last 17 figures. We have the Imperial Dignitary with the coin. This one did have some nose and cheek rub or chin rub. And, you know, don't overpay for this one. This is a figure that has come down in price as well. This one sold for $225. And I would argue that you could probably wait for an auction and get a graded example. Now, you know, I'm not saying that everyone that buys this stuff collects graded too, but I'm just saying that for a near mint plus condition example, it's more like $240 these days. So $225, I think, given the rub to the nose, it looks like it's very slight. Maybe he doesn't have nose rub. It could be shadows, but he definitely has a rub on the chin. So if you're going to pay $225 for a loose complete example, you know, I would make sure that it's perfect, okay? Because I think that if you're patient in an auction, you can probably pick one of these up for under $200 that's in better condition than this. But, you know, again, it included the coin, so I understand, you know, you might just be completing your collection and don't have to have the perfect example. But just try to be patient on last 17 because there are a lot of them out there. I know it doesn't seem like it sometimes, but there are a lot. Warwick. This one was in Australia and sold for $375 Australian, which is $247 US dollars. And that one was a very clean example. No discoloration to the torso. It included the bow that did not have any break there, as well as the coin. So I think that price was pretty good there. Here is Ramba, and also included the coin. That one sold in an auction for $170, another very fair price. This Ramba was in very, very good shape there. One thing to look out for on Ramba is kind of color rub to the belt, especially on those kind of tie pieces. You can often get color rub on that one, but that was a very nice example for $170. Here is the Imperial Gunner, loose complete with the correct weapon as well as the coin. And that one sold for $375 Australian, which is $247 US dollars. And I thought that was a pretty good deal. The emblems on both sides were in great shape. And I mean, you could argue maybe it's got a little bit of color rub to the belt, but it's very minor. But I thought that for $247, including the coin and weapon, I thought that was a great deal there. R2D2 Popup lightsaber, obviously not in mint condition, but I wanted to at least show what closer to beater than grade worthy. You know what I mean? But a lot of people just don't have the money to spend on a near mint plus condition R2D2 Popup saber. And if they're looking to complete their collection, I wanted to at least show you a good example of that. This one was listed for 420 pounds, and the best offer accepted was $345, which equates to 443 US dollars. And that's about as good as you can get. I mean, you might find one cheaper if you're patient, but this is probably in like 60 or 70 grade condition, given the condition of the sticker. But again, if you're looking to complete like your first, 96 or whatever, yeah, you might just want to have some beater last 17s to go along with those. And this is one that is always really pricey, and the dome on this one was pretty good. It was just the sticker had a lot of wear to it. So if you're just trying to get that last 17 done and you've got everything else done, I think that 443 is about as cheap as I've seen, especially for the condition of that dome and complete with the correct saber. A couple of shuttles did sell. Here was the Imperial Shuttle, 100% complete. That one sold for $320, and then this one was a beauty that also included the box. I thought this was a good deal at $450. I mean, you guys remember we had that mint and sealed box example that was AFA 85 that sold at Heritage for, what was it? I forgot the number, but it was like 8,000. I mean, it was a massive number. And, I'm not saying that that's comparable to this because obviously this is loose complete, but the box on this one was in pretty good shape. One tear on the back, but I mean, this is a great display piece. Very, very nice condition overall for $450. Now, it did include $54 shipping, but still, that's not a bad deal. $500 all in for a loose 100% complete Imperial Shuttle with the box. That was a really nice presenting box from the front there, and would look great on your shelf if you got the space for it. I certainly don't. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at recent sales for loose complete figures, play sets, vehicles, just kind of a nice mishmash of different items that sold here recently. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll be back soon.